Well, some big Jets news has been coming down over the last couple of days. Probably the biggest being Steve Wilks is out as Jets defensive coordinator. So we are going to talk about his being let go. I'm going to count down my top 5 candidates to be the Jets defensive coordinator in 2026. Also, the Jets say goodbye to a player or two. They bring a player or two in. One of the departures in particular, I have a very special goodbye for. It will warm your heart, I promise you. Anyway, guys, tell you what, it's time to get the show going. It is Wednesday night. It is 6 p.m., and you know what's up. We could find the 30-second countdown. I know it's around here somewhere. Ah, yes, StreamYard messing with me. We are live! And well, welcome everybody back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watu-K99. Thank you as always for taking the time to join me for our weekly Wednesday night live extravaganza. Hope everybody's having a fantastic week. We are just 8 days away from Christmas. We are 6 days away from Christmas Eve, but most of all, we are only 8 days from Christmas, 7 days from Christmas Eve, and 6 days away from my favorite holiday of the year, December 23rd, otherwise known as Christmas Adam. That's right. I'm putting it right here in the chat so everybody remembers. Make sure to wish everybody a very happy Christmas Adam on December 23rd because Adam came before Eve. Anyway. Yes. Any chance to drop a Christmas Adam, I will drop it. All right, so I already see that Harlan Abraham is here. We got a few people in the chat. Please hit that thumbs up. Help support the show. Help support the channel. We're getting close to 1,100 subscribers. I definitely want to cross over that. I've got a goal for 2026 to hit a certain number of new subscribers. So that is something I will be working towards, trying to change a few things up. Hopefully get a little bit more attention, changing some of the thumbnails, things like that, to try to get a little bit more attention on the channel, a few more short videos as well. So we're looking at all kinds of cool stuff to make this a little bit more fun. December 23rd, the anniversary of the Ice Bowl. Yeah. And you know what, Arlen, when I was in Green Bay, in the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame, they had a whole exhibit just for the Ice Bowl. Now, sadly, it was not 15 or 20 degrees below zero in the room. But you did have a chance to sit next to replicas of fans, to sit in some of the old seats and watch a film about the game. So there was basically steam coming out of the wall to where you felt you could see your own breath. But everything was there except it was actually like 65 degrees in the room. So, I can't even imagine what that would have been like. The one time I was in Green Bay in my life, I'm glad it was like 60, 65 degrees. That was fine for me. All right, guys, so we got some stuff to get into. We have a lot of news to get into tonight. But before we do that, we're going to take a little bit of look around what's going on in the world of sports. So let's talk about what's on my mind in a segment that we like to call 3 and Out. So first of all, the New York Giants, they lose to Washington last Sunday, 29-21. Washington had lost 8 straight games going into that one. And now the last time the Giants have won a game was October 9th. October 9th. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago that every Giants fan that you knew was saying, Dart and Scattaboo, you know, like it was, I don't know, like Jeter and Rivera or something like that. I don't know. But, yeah, that ended pretty quickly. And now you've got Minnesota this week at the Meadowlands. But remember, the big game the Giants have is the next week against the Raiders, because that's where we get the draft pick. That's where it's going to get changed, because one of those teams is going to have to win, and there's a chance the Jets could pass them. So we'll get into the Tankathon standings in a little while. As far as number 2, I want to talk about the New York Knicks, the NBA Cup champions for 2025. Saturday, they beat Orlando in the semifinals. Tuesday night, they beat the San Antonio Spurs. Of course, the game had to be on Amazon Prime. God forbid we put it on even cable TV, let alone broadcast TV. So Knicks fans seem to be a little bit torn on this. Some think it's worth celebrating. A lot of the old timers thinking, really, this is what we're getting excited about. To me, it doesn't mean much. It's great that they won a competition and they beat some of the best teams in the league to win that competition. That's what really matters. But the players getting an extra $500,000, I mean, for the fringe players, great. That means something. And the Knicks now have more merchandise that they could sell. I'm sure that'll make the marketing team very happy. It's cool, but you know what? Make the finals for the first time in 26 years. Win the NBA championship for the first time in 52 and a half years. Maybe we can have that. So it's all about winning the real one in June. That is what is going to matter. And the Knicks have a team that could possibly do it. They could possibly do it. And as far as baseball goes, just to spend a minute on this, Luke Weaver, the former Yankees relief pitcher, has signed with the Mets today, 2 years, $22 million. I think it's a very good signing for the Mets. They needed a lot more. They needed proven commodities in that bullpen, especially from the right side. You know, they have a lot of pitchers who have either left or are out for the year with Tommy John surgery. So on the right side, the only proven commodities you have are Devin Williams and now Luke Weaver. That's it. So I think it's a good signing. Last year, Weaver pitched to a 3.62 ERA, 8 saves, 17 games finished, 20 walks, 72 strikeouts over 64 innings. Still throws his fastball 95 miles an hour. Very, very good changeup. Held opposing batters to a 129 batting average when he threw his changeup. So he is a very, very capable pitcher. 2 years, $22 million, no problem. And so you wonder, all these ex-Yankees the Mets are signing, is Cody Bellinger next? Deep down, I don't really think so. But the Yankees really haven't done much of anything in this offseason. And yes, the Mets have lost some players, but at least they've signed some players. They've traded for some players. The Yankees they seem to be stuck in absolute neutral right now. So definitely some moves need to be made. And I would be surprised if Cody Bellinger plays in any other city but New York. I didn't say which team. I only said what city. All right. So I'll tell you what, guys. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take should I leave the background? I'm going to take the background out for just one moment. There we go. All right. So we got to put the slides up, and the candy canes are going to kind of get in the way. So Harlan, this time of year is sad for me because of all the deaths in my family at the same time. I'm sorry, man. And I don't know if it was in the same year or just this time of year over a period of years, but that's one of the things when, you know, you have those moments with family and friends. It's important to remember the good moments when you have them. And that's something I've been learning. It's very easy to take those times for granted because it's what we get used to. And so hold on to those good moments when you have them. Write about them. Take pictures. You know, whatever it takes to help you remember those moments, guys. I really think that's a great thing to be doing. So hold on to those good memories. Think about some good moments. Whatever helps get you through it, man. So I got your back, buddy. All right. Okay, guys. Well, let's go ahead and turn our attention to some football. It is time to talk some New York Jets football. I don't know why I got it in me, but I think I got it in me. So I got a chant. I think you got a chant. So let's. What is going on? Let's get right into this. This is what I want to spend the whole on. We got this absolutely abysmal performance down there in Blue Ball with the 48-20 beatdown. The biggest play game of the just never for a second felt that they were really in. First half, they were outgained 230 to 125. All right, what are things I need to do? First of all, for the offense, here's what thoughts on the defense. He's going to be better against the world. Yeah, it's good. 3 interceptions. One of those footballs can have to be targeted and defense defender. I mean, I don't know if Brady took his target. But yeah, one of those are. But you are seeing some ability. The throws you're seeing some good decision making. But this is a guy who's really learning how to play quarterback and try to be competent in the NFL. But people were asking, what happens if Brady took his quarterback? Maybe Cook starts with and even if Cook did dominate these last 4 games, he could not go into thinking, okay, starting quarterback. Maybe we drafted our quarterback. But I want to spend a minute on the first offensive drive of the Jets. Of course, they're already down 7-0. And the big thing was, there we go. I got it. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry about that. You know what? Let me try something. I'm going to change the audio on this. M9. There we go. Okay. I couldn't hear it coming out, so I do apologize. Yes, I'm getting a text about it also right now. So yeah, we got that. I think we got that fixed now. All right. Again, new computer. We're still working through a few things here and there, and I couldn't even hear the audio coming out of it. Okay, should be good now. Hey, just like the Jets and just like life, we're imperfect over here. You know what I mean? Okay, so I want to talk about the first drive. And unlike Jeff Lageman on the Jaguars radio broadcast, I had no issue with the Jets going for it on 4th down from their own 44, 45, whatever yard line it was. They had nothing to lose at this point in the season. I even like the play call, doing that sort of sweep around to Brees trying to get 2 blockers out in front. I just give credit to Trayvon Walker on the Jaguars that he recognized the play and blew it up. Jets just didn't execute it as well as they could have. And then you have the second drive, the touchdown drive. That was excellent. But the defense put the offense in a spot where they had to throw the ball because they were down so early. And then the Jaguars started getting a pass rush in the second half. When they knew the Jets were going to be throwing the ball, that's when the sacks came. That's when the interceptions came. And for the game, the numbers are not great. Breece Hall, 12 rushes for 23 yards, 2 catches for 14 yards. Probably the highlight was A.D. Mitchell, 6 catches, 58 yards, and a touchdown. Now, as far as this defense goes, I will say two things positively, and that's going to be about it. They did force one turnover, and they actually did okay against the run. Their focus was taking Travis Etienne out of the game. And for the most part, they actually did okay. They held the running backs to under 3 yards per rush. Not too bad. But this pass defense was horrific. They would have had trouble stopping a Division 1 AA team with that pass defense. And Steve Wilks, yes, he could take the majority of the blame. We all know the story with him, and I'm going to get into his story in a few minutes. But Aaron Glenn does have to take a little bit of a hit. It's the second straight week this team as a whole, especially the defense, came out unprepared. And yes, Wilks takes the bulk of it. Glenn has to take a little bit of it. And I understand half the secondary is injured. I understand they traded their 2 best players away earlier in the season. But the Jaguars are running open down the field all day. The defense put no pressure at all on Trevor Lawrence. 10 blitzes on 32 pass attempts. It didn't matter. For the game, the Jets had no sacks, 2 quarterback hits. I mean, 6 combined touchdowns for Trevor Lawrence? Come on! They made him look like the generational talent that the world thought he was when he entered the draft years ago. And did anyone see Jermaine Johnson in this game? Because I sure as hell didn't. Will McDonald is as hot and cold a player as I have seen in years. And Quincy Williams, it came down today that he's been playing with a cast on his hand. I could give him a little bit of slack for playing through injuries, but I just think it's not. This is either Quincy needs to go or the defense philosophy needs to change because he was terrible in this game and he's been bad all season. Per the PFF stats, Quincy Williams was targeted 6 times in coverage, allowed 6 catches, that's 6 for 6, 120 yards, 4 touchdowns. When he was targeted, Trevor Lawrence's passer rating was a perfect 158.3. His coverage grade was under 30. That stinks. As for his brother down in Dallas, not too bad. He had an interception. Quinnen Williams had an interception before the Jets defense had 1. How could you not bust out laughing at that moment, even though Dallas went on to lose the game? And to put this whole game in perspective by the defense, the last time the Jets allowed 5 passing touchdowns was week 1 of the 2020 season against the Kansas City Chiefs. It was the most points they've allowed since 2021 when they gave up 54 to the friggin' Patriots.
Absolutely brutal. No wonder the Jets made the change that they made. They had to. Harlan, you're right. The Wilks defense was too complicated. The players didn't know what they were doing. Jamie and Sherwood did not know how to line them up. It was a loss when C.J. Mosley retired because he knew what to do in those spots. The Jets need more veteran leadership on this defense. But again, let's see who comes in and what they want. Maybe they say, you know what? I still like Jamie and Sherwood. I still like Will McDonald. I still like Jermaine Johnson. I can work with these kids. I can work with these players. Who knows? You saw JJ. Yeah, we'll talk about how many snaps he played in just a few moments. We'll get to that. Special teams, you know what? Cam Little, the Jaguars kicker, has a big leg. He took Kene Nwangwu and Isaiah Williams right out of the game. It was touchback after touchback after touchback. 9 touchbacks total. 9! The one early punt the Jets forced, we saw what happened. Isaiah Williams takes it to the house to make the game 21-14. But oh no. That ridiculous blocking out of bounds penalty takes it back, and the Jets have to start at their own 35-yard line. And even though they did come back to kick a field goal on that drive, deep down, you knew they were done. Because the Jets never, ever recover from blows like that. A big penalty, a big drop, a big missed tackle. If they make a mistake on that level, it is very hard for them to come back. All right, let's get into the snap counts here. First of all, on offense, 68 snaps, up 10 from last week against Miami. Brady Cook, of course, played the whole game. Tyrod Taylor was not active. Running back, Breece Hall played 37 snaps, took a bit of a drop there. And once the game was out of hand, they just said, Breece, you know what, just rest up. Isaiah Davis was the beneficiary. He got an additional 12 snaps, up to 26. Andrew Beck got some more time, 11 snaps. And towards the end of the game, Khalil Herbert played 5, his first action with the offense all season. A.D. Mitchell, 54 snaps, leading the wide receiver room. John Mechie played 50, down a little bit from last week. Isaiah Williams, the third receiver, 41 snaps, so had a lot of time. Allen Lazard, oh yes, Allen Lazard, more on him in a minute. 15 snaps, actually was up 6 snaps. And Arian Smith, although outside of that one play, the interception, you wouldn't have even known he was on the field, had 9 snaps. Tight end, Jeremy Ruckert, 50 snaps, up 19. Jelani Woods. I did not even see Jelani Woods in the game. I got to be honest. I did not know he was playing. But he got 24 snaps. Good to see that he was on the field. Stone Smart had 11 snaps. Of course, Mason Taylor did not play in this game. He was injured. He is also out for this coming week's game against the Saints. And with the offensive line, Olu Fashanu, Josh Myers, Joe Tippmann, and Armand Membu played the whole game. John Simpson played 60 snaps, was taken out towards the end when he got banged up. Xavier Newman came in, played the last 8 snaps of the game. And Max Mitchell came in as the 6th offensive lineman for 7 snaps after not playing last week. All right, on to the defense, 62 snaps, down 3 from last week. Will McDonald leads the way with 53 snaps, up 8. That's just a little bit too much when you're as bad a run defender as he is. Michael Clemens, everyone's favorite, plays 39. Jermaine Johnson had his snap time cut in half, only 27 snaps. Eric Watts played 11 before he went out of the game. Tried to come back, just too beat up. I don't know if you're going to see him back in the game in the lineup the rest of the season. And of course, Tyler Barron, he is done for the year. Played 1 snap against Miami. Will not be seen the rest of the season. Defensive tackle, Juwan Briggs. I got to say something about Juwan Briggs, just on a side note. I'm at the bank today, and while I'm standing in line, there's a monitor over to the right on the wall with, all the different offers and all the different ways that the bank is sponsoring different charities and different organizations and things like that, right? I don't know why, but they actually put a picture of Juwan Briggs on the screen at my bank in North Carolina. And it said Juwan Briggs is a musician. He plays has competency at 12 different musical instruments. So apparently Juwan Briggs is not just a very good defensive tackle. He's something of a renaissance man. He have a little one-man band action going on. So maybe he'll play the national anthem one day. I don't know. But Harrison Phillips plays 38 snaps. Jay Tufele, 21. Kalen Saunders played 15 before he was kicked out on a ridiculous hitting the refs call too, as Rusty Spooner points out. Yeah, we got screwed a couple times. And again, Not that I'm ever blaming the officials for a loss, because there's many other reasons why. But yeah, when you get those types of calls going against you and you know you're not recovering from it, it's really frustrating. Harlan, when I was in the military, they had a saying, keep it simple, stupid. Yep, that's exactly. I remember Rex Ryan alluded to that during his introductory press conference. He said, a lot of people think of the KISS acronym, and he said, I got the KILL acronym. Keep it likable and learnable. And I think Steve Wilks would have been very well off to keep it likable and learnable. Just a thought. Hey, Billy, how you doing? The great Billy, SBC. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Doesn't matter who the DC is with this depleted roster, you're outgunned. But you know what I would say, Billy? You could still put players in a position to where they can succeed. You accentuate the strengths of whatever players you have. And that's not happening right now. It's absolutely not. I do expect a much better performance by this defense this Sunday in the Crescent City. I really do. At quarterback, Brandon Stevens played the whole game, 62 snaps. Quantos Stiggers played 62, up 57 snaps from last week. A.Z. Thomas, of course, was out for this game. He is done for the year. And Jordan Clark was the third cornerback. He played 45 snaps. And then at safety, Malachi Moore played all 62. Tony Adams played 25. And Isaiah Oliver played only 6. He is now out for the season. So just absolute insanity in that secondary. Those were the only players that I saw in the second. Yeah, only 6 players. So yeah, it was a very, very difficult situation for that secondary. You know, when you've traded away cornerback 1, you're down cornerback 3. You've lost, I think, 2 safeties over the course of the year. It's difficult. It is really, really difficult to be successful when you're in that kind of a situation. The great Danger Zone is here. LFG Wicker for life. Hey, cheers to you, Danger Zone. Check out Dane's channel if you haven't. He gets the best guests on, and when those guests aren't available, he calls me. What can I say? All right, so let's get into a little bit of Tankathon right here. I'm going to quickly delete that. Yep, all right, here comes Tankathon. That's right. Just end the season. Pretty much where we are. So here is the current top 10. So you've got 3 2-win teams, 3 3-win teams, 3 4-win teams. And remember all about the strength of schedule, so I've got that there for you. The Jets' current strength of schedule is very high, 536, and that is not very advantageous for a first-round pick. So, but they are a good ways ahead of Arizona. They should be able to, if both teams finish with the same record, the Jets should be good enough to hold off Arizona. Arizona still has the Rams. I know they also have Cincinnati and Atlanta. Yeah, it's Atlanta, Cincinnati, and the Rams for Arizona. So really, they have 2 bad teams, 1 good team, and the Jets have, 1 bad team and 2 good teams. But we're at the point of the season where it's only going to make so much of an impact. So I think the Jets will be fine as far as they go. But if the Jets do win a game, they could really drop. They could go from 5th to 8th or 9th, because look at New Orleans, who they're playing this week, of course. Look at Washington. Look at Cincinnati. All 3 of those teams have worse strengths of schedule than the Jets. So if they lose out and the Jets win a game, they will pass the Jets. So that is something to be concerned about. And to be honest with you, I don't expect Atlanta to be in the mix here. They've got Arizona this week. I expect Atlanta to win that game. And if they do, that guarantees the Jets will finish in the top 9. Unless, of course, the Jets win out, which nobody under the sun is going to predict is going to happen. All right. Just checking. Thoughts on Rucker, tight end 3, hopefully. I'm going to get into Rucker. Yep, we're going to get into the news in just a little bit. All right, but you see that Cleveland strength of schedule. You got to hope Cleveland wins the game if the Jets are going to pass them. That or Shadur Sanders looks like Joe Montana these last 3 weeks. Don't count on that. But then you have the Giants. How about the Giants? Can you believe the Giants and Jets have the exact same strength of schedule? After that, you're looking at common games, minimum 4, to break the tie. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Week 17, not this week, but next week, there is a huge game to determine Jets versus Giants. If they finish tied, I don't know if they will, but the Giants do have the Raiders next week, so they could. They finish tied. Philadelphia plays Buffalo. So that will go a long way towards strength of schedule because the Jets played the Bills twice, the Giants played the Eagles twice. And if you're a Jets fan, you are rooting hard for Philly. Hard for Philly. And Giants fans will be rooting for Buffalo. That is probably the most important strength of schedule game that's coming up. Week 17, Philly, Buffalo. Okay? So keep that in mind. But the Jets also have an easier strength of schedule than Vegas and Tennessee. So they could pass those teams as well. All right. Oh, let's see. Oh, StreamYard's trying to mess with me here. They just put up like a display about AI, which I'm not really necessarily looking for. Let's see if we can. Let's go back. All right, that didn't work all that well. All right. Let me go down there. There we go. Okay. Trying to. Unfortunately, StreamYard's just messing with me tonight. My gosh. All right, so that takes us to our projections. So last week the Jets were having an average draft position of 5.1. It got a little bit better. It is now 4.5. The chance to get the number 1 pick did not change, still 5.7%. Chance to get a top 5 pick went up by quite a bit, 58% to 70%. And the chance to get a top 10 pick went up from 98.8 to 99.8. There's next to no chance that they aren't in the top 10. Okay, draft odds. First overall pick, the Raiders in the lead, basically a 40% chance. Right behind them, you have Cleveland, and you have Cleveland at number 3 at 18.9, Tennessee at 19.2. So, yes, so it's Tennessee 2, Cleveland 3. Then the Giants 4 at 16, and the Jets down at 5.7. And then draft position, you've got the Raiders, average draft position at 2.5. Cleveland and Tennessee very close, right around 3 for both of them. Why is this happening? Peak traffic on AI clips. Clip generation is experiencing high demand, so they're making it more difficult. Giants at 3.9, and the Jets draft position, as we just went over, is 4.5. All right, so then the draft power rankings. And after this, I've got one more slide for you that I want to show you about the schedule. So the Jets, their overall draft power went up a little bit more with that second round pick. As long as Dallas keeps doing what they're doing, that second round pick gets a little bit better. So you got the Jets, then Cleveland, then a ways behind them, you've got the Raiders, and then a bunch of other teams well after that. But clearly it is the Jets and Browns with the 2 most valuable drafts at this point. So again, if the Jets want to trade up, nobody is more equipped to do that than them. All right, now a couple things with the schedule that I do want to mention. I've got 2 columns here. One is for the strength of schedule, and the other one is for the standings. Now the standings, it's pretty straightforward. Jets against New Orleans. If you want the Jets to have a better draft pick, you're rooting for the Saints. If you want to root for the Jets win, root for the Jets winning. Completely up to you all. Minnesota at the Giants, rooting for the Giants. I think it is very possible the Giants could win that game. You never know what kind of J.J. McCarthy you'll get from week to week. Buffalo at Cleveland, rooting for Cleveland, although I wouldn't count on the Browns winning that game. Kansas City at Tennessee. Interesting game. Now, Gardner Minshew is a capable backup quarterback. What it comes down to me is this. Does Kansas City, now that they are done, and Patrick Mahomes is out for the year, do they care about winning this game? Do they show up? That is the biggest question. And I do trust Andy Reid as a coach, but after the run that this franchise has had over the last 5-6 years, how motivated can you be to go to Nashville to play the Titans? Because Tennessee, I don't think they're going to take the game lightly. Bears, a lot of watching. Then you have Vegas and Houston. Put it this way, I'll give you all a spoiler alert for my picks video. Houston is my number 16 pick. I got more confidence in them than any other team. And then the Monday night game, San Francisco at Indianapolis. Of course, we are all rooting against Phillip Rivers. Go Niners, go. And then for strength of schedule, you're rooting for Cincinnati, who will be at Miami. You're rooting for the Chargers, who will be at Dallas. You're rooting again for Cleveland at Buffalo. Ugh. Arizona at Atlanta. I don't feel good about that. Detroit at Pittsburgh. That's a big one because the Jets did play Pittsburgh, but they did not play Detroit. And some of the other teams that are near the Jets did play them. So Detroit beating Pittsburgh would go a long way towards helping the Jets. So I got a little asterisk there. And then Baltimore against New England. So some of those outcomes could definitely happen. Really now the big thing is getting past the Giants, I think. Now the team I want to get past is the Raiders. But if the Jets and Giants finish tied, I don't want to be in a position where we got to trade up with the Giants. All right, so there we go. Let's get rid of that. Okay. All right, just taking a quick look. Let's hope that the Jets beat New Orleans. I'll tell you what, if I was in a position to travel right now, I would have headed down to the Bayou for the game this weekend. I'm sure tickets are about $25 and hotel rooms are $250, but hey, who could complain about it, right? Rusty feeling pretty optimistic. I think Tennessee beats Kansas City and then the Saints. I think the Raiders beat both the Giants and Kansas City. The Raiders are the worst team in football in my mind. I think the Giants beat Minnesota, maybe Dallas. I think the Browns beat Pittsburgh and Cincy. Rusty, are you thinking or are you hoping? I don't know, man. I don't know. I do think Tennessee could beat Kansas City. I just don't know if I got it in me to make the pick. But more than anything, if I got to root for any one of these teams, I'm rooting for the Raiders. Because no other team needs a quarterback more than they do, along with the Jets. Danger, what if Sauce took our curse with him? Sauce ain't that powerful. By the way, did you see he did another tweet and delete after the Steve Wilks firing? You see that one? Basically say maybe it's not Wilks, maybe it's the players, and he immediately deleted it. So ridiculous. I think both Gardner and Quinnen took away curses. Things haven't gone well for both of them, injured and teams plummeting. Well, Quinnen's played very well for Dallas. It's just the rest of the team isn't doing all that great right now. But yeah, Sauce got hurt. And again, I take no joy in Sauce getting hurt, but I take joy in every Indianapolis loss and every Dallas loss. Harlan does not want Fernando Mendoza. He wants the Raiders to take him. I'm going to talk about Mendoza in a moment. You know what? I think we need to let's just get right into this right now. Let's get into the news, and I think I'll kind of address this as we go along here. All right. So Jets news. So the first thing that I do want to mention. Oh, I don't. You know what? I'm gonna pull up the other one. Let me see if I can do that. Google Slides. Indianapolis Jones and the Tendon of Doom. Yep. Yeah, I got you, Rusty. Yep, I know, Rusty. Yeah, I feel bad for the kid. You know, you have to feel for him. All right. All right. Before we get into the, let's see, it's processing right now. The process, just like Mike Tannenbaum. Yeah. All right, so I do want to spend a minute on the Tua news, on Tua Tagovailoa being benched by the Miami Dolphins, so he is no longer their starting quarterback. And I think the news was pretty surprising to, not too surprising if you listen to Mike McDaniel basically saying everything was on the table. Actually, no, here we go. Here's Tua. There you go. So, he is being benched. Quinn Ewers will be starting this week's game against Cincinnati, and our old friend Zach Wilson will be backing up. Now, when I heard this, considering he's still under contract for another 2 years, my first thought was maybe Tua is getting traded. You know, when you don't have a draft class with a lot of great quarterbacks, I think it makes trades that much more possible. But I was thinking, who would want him? Because the Dolphins are not trading him to the Jets, nor do I want Tua Tagovailoa on the Jets. With that concussion history, the inability to win in cold weather, pass. I know he's had some fantastic seasons. When you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, it's not as difficult. But you know what? I was actually thinking, why not the Raiders? Why not? Think about it. Maybe in exchange of first-round picks, a few other pieces move around. And then Tua goes to the Raiders, and maybe the Dolphins move up, and they go after Fernando Mendoza. Maybe they think Mendoza is a fit in Miami. The surname, I'm just saying, I don't think it would be the worst idea in the world. I'm not ruling it out. But I did see one other piece of information that made me think, I don't know if a trade is happening. And it's called the contract. If Miami trades Tua, in 2026, they take on a dead cap hit of $45.2 million. Woof. Now, would they take that cap hit on if it meant they have Fernando Mendoza on a rookie contract? A trade definitely works out better than a cut. Maybe it's my mind racing, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just had to wonder about it. Can they bring Tua back as their starter next year if they're benching him now? And if you're thinking about maybe they would cut him, if they cut Tua before June 1st, it would cost Miami $99 million in dead money for 2026. That is pretty painful. Just like that. That's what they're saying down there in Miami. Now, if they wait till June 1st to make the cut, it still costs you right around the same amount of money. It costs you $67.4 in 2026 and then $31.8 in 2027. Essentially $99 million just spread out over 2 years. So that's really the whole thing. It's what the Jets had to do with Aaron Rodgers. It's what they're facing doing with Justin Fields. Do you want to take the whole cap hit this year or take the same total cap hit but spread it out over 2 years? Miami could be facing that sort of a decision with Tua. Man alive. After they signed him to that contract, and now he's being benched for Quinn Ewers. Wow. Rusty, I think the Raiders are going for Burrow. There's a lot of things being said about that, and Pete Carroll would do it. Does Joe Burrow... Here's my only thing. Joe Burrow contract... So Joe Burrow does have a no-trade clause, okay? So he would have to approve a trade to the Raiders. And if you're Joe Burrow, why would you want to go to the Raiders? Their offensive line is horrific. Yes, you have Brock Bowers, but in Cincinnati you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Why would you want to get traded? And I would also think if Burrow's going to get traded, it's likely not in the AFC. I just can't imagine why you would want to go to the Raiders with their complete lack of talent and their total dysfunction. So they could go for him, but I don't think Joe Burrow would ever approve it. Yeah, Harlan's pretty much echoing me. Burrow would reject a trade to the Raiders. All right, let's talk a little bit about injuries because we got a few things to talk about here. The Jets put Isaiah Oliver on injured reserve. He is out for the year. Kadron Smith has been signed to the practice squad. He had been with Denver. I had never heard of him. He went undrafted out of Kentucky in 2023 before landing in Miami. He's had stops in Washington, Denver, and now the Jets. He's played a lot of special teams, but over the last 2 years, he has a grand total of 17 snaps on defense. And to replace Oliver, they signed their old friend Jarius Monroe, who played a good amount for them last season. They signed him to the 53-man roster. So that is where that is. And also, we do have a couple of injuries. Mason Smith will not play this week. Right now, I don't think Garrett Wilson's going to be playing either. And so that is pretty much where we are. All right, now let's go ahead and pay a little tribute to this fine gentleman right now, Alan Lazard. Wow, crowd coming in hot. All right. Automatically general. I got to figure out why I can't hear the audio when I play it. I know it's coming through, but I got to figure out. I know it comes through for you all, but I got to figure out why this is not working the way that it should be. But all right, I'll get it figured out. All right. So Tuesday morning, our old friend Alan Lazard requested his release, and the Jets granted it to him. So a contract that initially paid him 4 years, $44 million. They ended up paying him $24 million. He was restructured earlier this offseason. And it is just one of those things where it made sense to sign Aaron Rodgers. Unfortunately, they brought in way too many of his friends, players, coaches, and maybe the two most glaring ones were Nathaniel Hackett as offensive coordinator and Alan Lazard as wide receiver. Just saying the name makes me just groan. In 3 years, he had 70 catches. So basically he got paid $24 million, 70 catches. He made about $350K per catch. Not a bad deal, is it? 70 catches, 911 yards, 8 touchdowns, 25 yards per game. Caught 55% of the passes thrown his way. Not bad. And one thing about Lazard, he was not tough. He broke 1 tackle in 3 years. 1 tackle in 3 years. You touch him with a fingernail, he drops to the turf. He had a lot of drops, 11 drops, an 8% drop rate. 8% drop rate with the Jets. With the Packers, the drop rate was 5.4%. And I look at the total number of snaps he played in his 3 years. First year, 76% of the snaps. Second year, 84% of the snaps. Why? Because Aaron Rodgers was playing. That's why. This year, just 39% of the snaps. Healthy scratch in 4 games. So here we go. So now we're gonna get into a little bit of a special goodbye here. Maybe if I mute the microphone. Maybe if I do that, that'll work. Let me just try the Allen Lazard thing again. No, the muting didn't work. I tried turning off echo cancellation. I'm just gonna have to play with this after the show. I'm gonna mess with it. I'll get this thing figured out. Okay, so I'm gonna do something just a little bit special here for Allen Lazard. Now, normally when we say goodbye to somebody from the New York Jets organization, we have 2 special words as their parting gift, and those words go like this. He gone, and Allen Lazard is most definitely gone. But for being one of the worst free agent signings we have seen in many, many years, I think we need to go just a little bit further. We're going to have a little fun here with Mr. Lazard, who I'm sure is already flying to Pittsburgh right now to reconnect with his boy, Aaron Rodgers. So I got something a little Christmas themed for you. So here we go. For the 3 years of Lazard, Allen gave to us. "11 total drops, 4 offensive holdings, 3 false starts, 2 illegal motions, and an unsportsmanlike conduct." Thank you so much, Allen. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. You stunk for the Jets. Goodbye. And then you add on the reports from Connor Hughes that he had bad practice habits, that he wasn't a good teammate, that he just had a negative attitude. I'm actually surprised the Jets let him hang around as long as they did. I really am. But then it was a good time for other players, in particular, Mr. Jeremy Ruckert. Now, I got to say this. A couple of months ago, I would have been more than pleased to just cut him loose, release him, trade him, because what was the productivity? What was Jeremy Ruckert bringing to the table that was good? It felt like he couldn't block. He couldn't catch a pass if he had to stick him on his gloves. But when they brought in Justin Fields, I'm like, well, okay, there's the Ohio State connection. Let's see what happens. And the coaching staff is clearly pleased because they inked Jeremy Ruckert to a 2-year extension today, $10 million total, up to $11 million. I haven't seen a report yet on guaranteed money, but good on Ruckert. He is at least a serviceable tight end at this point. He's not a liability. And we know, as NFL fans, there are only so many legitimate tight ends in this league. I mean, there are a lot of okay ones, but very few who legitimately make a difference. Kyle Pitts can do it from time to time. Brock Bowers could become that. Sam Laporta can do it when he's healthy, but mostly it's just kind of glimpses. Like very few offenses is the tight end the number 1 or even the number 2 target in that offense. And Jeremy Ruckert will never, ever be that. But as a number 2 tight end right now, he's okay. Would I like him to be the number 3 tight end? Hey, even better. But as the number 2 tight end, it's fine. Behind Mason Taylor, it's one less hole to worry about going into the offseason. And I got to say this, I appreciate the Jets being proactive on making moves. Whether it's extending Josh Myers, whether it's extending Jeremy Ruckert, whether it's cutting Allen Lazard loose, whether it's firing Steve Wilks, whether it's trading Sauce Gardner, whether it's trading Quinn Williams, the Jets have shown themselves to be proactive. And I got to say, I respect that. Signings, trades, releases, they're identifying what they want and what they don't want. It's called being proactive, something that my baseball team could stand to learn from. Yeah, making decisions early so you don't wind up with, your tail between your legs and you don't know what the heck you're going to do about it. Just saying. All right, so let's get into, speaking of making changes, let's get into Steve Wilks right now. We've waited long enough. It's time to get into the firing of Steve Wilks. I see we've got the great in the chat, representing the great city, if you're going there for breakfast, of Kenosha, Wisconsin, the great Chris Brannigan. Hello, my friend. How you doing? Just want to say real quick, guys, just in case anybody is wondering, I will be here on Christmas Eve. We will be doing the show, same time, 6 p.m., nothing different. So I will be here for you on Christmas Eve. So if you don't want to watch It's a Wonderful Life, turn my show on. Well, it'll be on before that comes on the air. But I will be here doing the show for you all. So definitely looking forward to doing that. All right. So Steve Wilks is out. His 6th straight one and done as a coach. They say things happen in threes. Things happen in threes twice for this guy, okay? The announcement came down Monday morning, and we now see in retrospect, Wilks had a very read and react type of defensive system, and it was a complete mismatch with Aaron Glenn, who is very man-heavy. It was a cover one style defense. Glenn said he let Wilks run his system, but the system was too plain, far too predictable. The blitz packages too obvious to opposing offenses. And through 15 weeks, this unit is on pace to be historically bad. I'm going to give you some numbers here because I like to give out numbers. The great Jets mess. Hey Wicker, hey Mess, how you doing, buddy? Happy early holidays to you. Hope you're having a great week, buddy. I appreciate you stopping by. So a couple of numbers. The Jets blitzed 25% of the time under Steve Wilks. That's either 9th or 10th highest in football, depending on which statistic you look at. Yet they generated pressure on just 15% of opposing teams' dropbacks. That's 30th in the league. 9th highest blitz rate, 30th highest pressure rate. That means the system wasn't working, one, and the players just aren't good enough to do the job. 22 total sacks. That's 31st in the league. I never thought that would happen. They have 95 missed tackles, 5th highest in the league. 82 points given up over the last 2 weeks. They're allowing 28.4 points per game. That's 30th in the NFL out of 32 teams. 20th in yards allowed. As you all know, no interceptions all year, even though they've had plenty of opportunities. Players constantly out of position. Players had lost confidence in the scheme and the coach. The read and react system did not work. And this is the biggest reason why no Jet defender was improving from last year. There are players who came here and have gotten better. Juwan Briggs, Brandon Stevens, chief among them. But look at the players who are still here. Maybe Michael Clemens, but they're using him in a different position. But Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Quincy Williams, Jamie Sherwood. None of them got better. Sauce wasn't better. Quinnen wasn't better. So what were we talking about here? Tony Adams, he's still the same player, so I can't count him either. So when I hear about this player's overrated, when all these players are underachieving, I think oftentimes that comes back to the coach. It comes back to the scheme. And I do believe that was the case with Steve Wilks. And if you guys know me, you know I am not the type who likes calling for somebody's job. I don't like to do that. But a change was clearly needed. Players had called out Wilks in meetings. He would not budge. He would just say, stay in your gaps. And we saw it this past week after the Jacksonville game. Defensive players did not want to talk to the media. Guys like Quincy Williams, Jermaine Johnson, who are usually very forthright and very willing to talk to the media, had no interest in doing so. A change was needed. And again, credit to Aaron Glenn for making the change. I'm actually surprised he didn't wait till the end of the year. I figured he would keep Wilks around, just let him go out with some dignity. No, it's over. And from everything that I'm hearing, Woody Johnson had no role in this decision. There's no proof of it. There's no speculation even from just people who want to blame Woody Johnson for everything, including the Kennedy assassination. Okay? The only people saying that Woody had anything to do with this are the people who just look for any reason they can to take a shot at Woody Johnson. Jets mess, I really don't think Woody had anything to do with this. If anything, Woody could have said, it is Aaron Glenn's show. It is. Glenn himself said that he made the call, I believe. I think he said that in the press conference. But no, I definitely don't think Woody was making the call to fire a defensive coordinator. Chris thinks, okay. I really don't think this is Woody's call. Now, did he and Aaron Glenn have a conversation about it? Maybe so. Maybe they came to the decision together. But put it this way. If it was a situation where Woody made the call and Aaron Glenn was fighting for Steve Wilks to be retained, I'd be worried. Any other situation, I'm not sweating it. That's my thought. So Steve Wilks out. Oh, yes, we have to say one more time. Steve Wilks, we thank you for your time, but he gone. 2 he gones in one show. Oh, my gosh. Chris Harris is in, and I am very happy that he got promoted. So he has been promoted from defensive backs coach and passing game coordinator. Very, very well thought of. And I remember Chris Harris playing for the Bears back in the days when I was living in Chicago. And he's now been coaching since 2013. So he's been doing this for a long time now. And he served as the Titans cornerback coach, defensive pass game coordinator before he came to the Jets. Did that for 2 years. But here's the thing. This is his first time as a play caller. Now, we know the Jets are playing shorthanded, so we need to keep that in mind. But can they at least be in position to be in position? Can they be in position to play hard, to make an occasional impact play? I don't know if 3 games is really enough to judge a first-time defensive coordinator when you're playing with a short deck. But let's see what kind of results we see over these last 3 weeks. So with that in mind, I'm going to count down my top 5 candidates for the Jets defensive coordinator. I'm making a quick likes check here. Remember, if you want to spin the wheel, hit that thumbs up button, or if we get to $15 in super chats, I will spin the wheel a little bit later on. Right now, we are still a few short of the like count. All right. So we need a few more. I see Rusty and Chris have a certain candidate that they are thinking of. Is he on my list? Well, he may be. He may not be. You're just going to have to wait and find out. I see we got a few more people hanging out in the chat. Welcome, new folks. Feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to say hi. Got any questions, any thoughts on your mind? I love having an open forum. It makes the show a whole lot more fun when I get to go back and forth with you guys. Okay, one name I'm going to leave out, sort of an honorable mention, is Brian Flores. I don't think he's going to be leaving Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota is going to clean everybody out. And even if they did, I don't think he would make a lateral move to join the Jets. So if he did cut free, I'd be very interested in it. I just don't see it happening. Number 5 is Jim Schwartz. Now, I've got him at number 5 because I don't know if the Browns are going to turn over the whole coaching staff, but I think they're much more likely to do it than Minnesota is. Schwartz is 58 years old. He has spent 17 seasons as a defensive coordinator in the NFL. He has done it with 4 different organizations, and he led the Eagles defense to a Super Bowl win back in 2017 over a certain team from New England. Yes, that was one of the 3 Super Bowls that their quarterback, the pretty boy, the cheat, the tablet thrower lost, I believe. Yes, that is true. And then in 2023, under his leadership, the Browns ranked 2nd in defensive DVOA, and they rank 4th in that metric this season. Now, granted, he has Myles Garrett. That is going to make any defensive coordinator look good. So Jim Schwartz, if you're looking for a proven candidate, this could be a very intriguing one because he gets results just about everywhere he goes. So I do like Jim Schwartz. Number 4 is somebody Jets Mess likes, and that is Wink Martindale, the former host of Tic-Tac-Toe, the game show. No, but Wink Martindale is currently the defensive coordinator at Michigan. By the way, that's him actually. I think that's Wink Martindale happy. Yeah, I looking for images of him. I could barely find a smile. Yeah, this man is like incapable of smiling. So after the disaster with the now former head coach at Michigan, the less we say about that, the better. Wink could very well be available. Now, we know he and Brian Daboll did not get along when they were with the Giants, but he gets results. He was fantastic with the Ravens for many years. But how about this stat? In 2023, the Giants under Martindale forced 31 turnovers, the most in the NFL. That's a decade's worth for the Jets. My biggest question is the personality situation. Is he a match with Aaron Glenn? Like, what was it that really forced the problem with Wink and Brian Daboll? And what can be done to ensure that he and Aaron Glenn will work together well? because I don't want Wake Martindale, because he's a little bit older. I don't want him coming in for 2 years and leaving in a huff. Okay. I want somebody who's going to be here for 5 years, possibly. Danger Zone. Can Schwartz bring Megatron as a wide receiver coach? That's about it. I think that's about all that's going to happen there. Number 3, I got a couple of first-time coordinators after this. Number 3 is Al Harris. Now, from 2020 to 2023, he served as the Cowboys defensive backs coach, and then he was promoted to assistant head coach last season. Now, he is currently with the Bears, and he has done an amazing job bringing up that unit. Jalen Johnson, Jaquan Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson, Kevin Byard was then brought in for leadership, and it's been a great fit. The Bears have 21 interceptions this season. This is a name that is becoming very, very popular. I think he has a fantastic chance to become a defensive coordinator next year. Number 2 is a name that I don't think a lot of people are mentioning, but I am intrigued, and it's Christian Parker of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this is a Jersey guy. I like that. He's only 33 years old, and he's been learning under Vic Fangio. I like that. He's gone from Green Bay to Denver to Philly as their defensive backs coach. And while he was in Denver, that's right, he was in Denver, he crossed paths with Darren Muji, the Jets general manager. Scheme-wise, it's an intriguing fit. Philadelphia plays man coverage at the second highest rate in the NFL. So that lines up very nicely with Aaron Glenn, because the Jets secondary is built around big physical press cornerbacks, A.Z. Thomas, Brandon Stevens, Jarvis Brownlee. So I think Christian Parker could come over and be a very good fit. So keep him in mind. And number 1, it's not only my number 1, it's many people's number 1. My boy, Jim Leonhard. By the way, did I tell you guys I kind of blew it with his sister before the Jets-Colts playoff game? Yeah, I met his sister. Unfortunately, I was too drunk to do anything about it. But she was actually very nice. Anyway, when I saw the news that Steve Wilks was fired, this was the first name that I thought of. Now, Leonhard was not only an excellent player, but his intelligence was praised by Rex Ryan. He looked at Jim Leonhard, not Bart Scott, as the quarterback in the secondary. He was a hard-nosed player, played hard every single play, and that style is something that Aaron Glenn has preached ever since his arrival. So after Jim Leonhard retired, he jumped right into the coaching realm. He joined the University of Wisconsin as a DB coach in 2016, was promoted to defensive coordinator 1 year later. A quick riser. His defense has consistently ranked among the best in Division I college football. You look at his 6-year career as the defensive coordinator at Wisconsin, the Badgers allowed the fewest points per game among all FBS programs, 17.9 points. So in 2022, he also became their interim head coach, led the Badgers to a 4-3 record. 2024, he heads over to Denver. Sean Payton brought him in. He became DB coach and defensive pass game coordinator. Not too different than Chris Harris. And also, he overlapped with Darren Muji for a year in Denver. We know he's familiar with the Jets organization. It looks like pretty much an ideal fit, doesn't it? So Parker and Leonhard are the two that I've got up above everybody else. And at this point, I don't even know if I really am needing head coaching experience. Now that Aaron Glenn is, he talks enough to Bill Parcells, these other coaches. He gets enough counsel there. Okay, I'm not worried about bringing anybody with head coach experience. I want to bring somebody in more than anything where the philosophies align. I think with Parker and Leonhard, it can work. Leonhard, I don't know about the man versus zone, but I know he gets results. I know he's a rising star. And if the Jets don't get their hands on him and get him into their room with a promotion, somebody else will. All right. So let's go ahead and remove that. Danger. With all our blue chippers on defense, you would think we could recruit anyone. Oh, wait. You know what? I think some of them can be blue chippers again, but we know this defense needs help at every single level. No doubt about it. And I'll tell you what, that's going to be a big part of this draft. Because remember, the Jets have a lot of day 3 picks. A lot. Everyone wants to focus on the 2 first rounders. If you look at the Jets draft picks, there are a ton coming later. You have one in the 5th round, a comp pick, so it's late. You got Buffalo 6th round pick. That'll be pretty late. And then in the 7th round, you've got Tennessee. That'll be early. Then Buffalo and 2 more comp picks. So it's not just day 3 picks, but you get late day 3 picks. I'm not saying I'm asking for freaking Ray Lewis in the 7th round, but if you can get good contributors with that 5th round, with that 4th round, Jets have their own 4th round pick. I should mention that as well. But the 4th round pick, the late 5th round pick, that will go a long way. If you just get contributors with the 6th and 7th round pick, get some depth there, that's going to be very, very important. Danger. I like Leonard, but I'm leaning Harris. Be good for him to see Glenn's bill before having his own. All right, cool. But I think we're on pretty much the same page with the names that we're looking at. So that is that's pretty encouraging. All right, let's talk a little bit about the New Orleans Saints. This is our Week 16 preview. Yes, that is Aaron Glenn on your screen. Yep, there we go. Okay, so 5 things to know about the New Orleans Saints. They have won 2 straight, beating Tampa Bay and Carolina, a team that was in heavy contention for the first overall pick and drafting a quarterback, is now in the 7th spot, and maybe, just maybe, they have their quarterback of the future in Tyler Shutt. Number 2, the Saints are 6th in passing defense. They have a good pass defense, allowing only 180 passing yards per game. Number 3, they have a lot of injuries on offense. Alvin Kamara has missed the last 3 weeks with knee and ankle issues, and now Devin Neal, their backup running back, is out, and Devon Vele, who's that classic physical X-wide receiver, he will not play in this game either. And those last 2 players have really emerged over the last few weeks with Tyler Shugg. So Shugg is playing with a short deck as well. Number 4, this is a damning stat about the offense. The Saints have the worst red zone offense in the NFL. They have converted just 43.2% of their trips in the red zone. So 57% of the time, they don't score a touchdown. They either kick a field goal, turn the ball over on downs, or turn the ball over. And number 5, the Saints average 7.4 penalties per game. That is among the 5th least. That is top 5 in the NFL. So this is not a team that takes a lot of penalties. Keep that in mind as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and, we're done with DVOA. Now you got to pay $20 a month for the stat. Saints still have a shot to win their division. Believe it or not, it's crazy. The Saints have 4 wins. Don't the Bucks and Panthers have I think the only way that could happen. Wait a second here, because the Bucks and Panthers are 7-7, right? Right. So I don't think it's. Well, let's see. If the game finishes in a tie, right, and then both teams lose out, they're 7-9-1. And then the Saints could be 7-10. So I don't think that's possible. No, because the Bucks and Panthers play each other this week. So both teams cannot lose out. So if they did lose out, they'd be 7-10. Saints would be 7-10. Then it would come down to tiebreakers. But the Saints are eliminated. They are eliminated. But good try, Rusty. Good try. Rusty takes chances. I give him credit. But it's just not possible. All right, guys. I'll tell you what we're going to go ahead and do. It is about that time. Oh, by the way, personal update. It's okay, Rusty. It's okay. It's okay. If you guys believe in prayer, good vibes, whatever you may believe in, I'm very close to getting a formal job offer. It has been a job issue for the last few weeks. If it does work out, and I think it will, I may wind up pushing the show back to 6:30 instead of 6 p.m. That would be probably mid-January. I'll keep you posted on that. But I talked with the potential employer today. It's very encouraging. Just have to get HR documentation, get all that stuff on board, make sure that the terms are agreeable all the way around. I expect to hear from them tomorrow. So a prayer, good vibes, good wishes, whatever you have, I could use it. So hopefully we are getting to the finish line. It's been almost a month that I've been in this situation. Has not been easy. And that's really why I didn't do much of anything for 2 weeks. I just couldn't. I just wasn't there. So that is where we are. Just want to mention that. So if this works out, I will have to start. I'm going to WFAN. God knows I'd be better than the last overnight guy they had. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I don't know. I think I could if I had the right partner. See, I would if I was doing a show like that, I would want to do it with somebody because I like the conversation, the going back and forth. To me, that's what's the most fun. Because when you do a conversation, I don't have to do quite as much research as I do to get ready for these shows and putting the slides together, all that kind of stuff. But hey, thanks. Thanks, Johnny Ola. I appreciate it. Nick Teodoro, love Leonard. Yeah. How could you not? How could you not? Jim Leonard quickly became one of my favorite Jets, pretty much as soon as he signed. Yeah. He was very, very easy to like, got hurt that second year. It's easy to forget that. He was healthy the first year, but that second year we made that run to the AFC Championship game, he got hurt, and who knows if things would have been different had he stayed healthy. Nick is in on Leonard or Wink. Got that Ravens bloodline. Acknowledge me. There you go. You are acknowledged. Danger. Chaos's hairstylist. Maybe here. That's about as far as that would go, but Chaos's hairstylist, yes, and yep, we'll leave it at that. Yes, I'm also his dietitian. Oh gosh, I'm the dietitian for the Cravat Brothers. What can I tell you? Yeah, that'll be the day, right? Okay, guys, let's go ahead and do the trivia right now. It is about that time when every week it is that time. You know what happens every week. I head down into the labyrinth of Jets knowledge, and I dust off the Encyclopedia Britannica. I bust open the books. I enter the Jets dark web, and I, Wa2K99, challenge you, the most loyal fans of the most loyal fan base in the National Football League. Just how much do you know about your New York Jets? So if you are ready, you better be ready. Challenging you this week. Here we go. Let's play Jets trivia. Here we go, guys. Now, I will let you know this will not be a multiple answer question. I only need one answer, but can you get it? It's gonna be it's gonna be tough. Oh, Chris Bradigan. Am I an ass clown for saying I hate John Cena and always had? I didn't see him ever. I don't know if you saw, Chris. I did put up sort of a John Cena tribute, sort of. Now, I was never a big John Cena. Put it this way: once he became like a full baby face, I was never a fan. I did like the original Doctor of Thugonomics with the throwback jerseys and the rhyming. I'm not a big hip hop guy, so it was never. To me, the John Cena that we saw for all those years was sort of a pasteurized PG version of the John Cena when he first broke out the hip hop character. So I can't tell you that there was ever a time I really rooted for him to win a match. Now, do I respect the career? Absolutely, I respect the career of John Cena. But when Gunther made him tap out, as Gunther said, like a little bitch, I was laughing. I was clapping and I was laughing. I gotta tell you. Because I knew it was the right move. Better for business, because now all those Cena fans want to see him get knocked off. They want to see Gunther get his butt kicked. And I was in the building. I was in the Allstate Arena, Money in the Bank, 2011, when Punk won the WWE title. That may have been the loudest building I've ever been in my life. But again, if you want to get my thoughts on John Cena, there's about a 25-minute video up on my channel. Save that one for later. Bookmark it. I'll really get into that. Yeah, he is from West Newbury, Massachusetts. That is true. That is true. But he moved to Florida. But in honor of Johnny Boy is the answer, John Hall. Yeah, I texted Johnny. I haven't heard from him. I hope I hear back from him soon. I hope he's okay. I haven't heard anything from him in a couple days, though. Unless New York sports is a wrestling guy. Oh, dude, I've been a wrestling fan for 40 years. Yeah. I go back to pretty much the very beginning of WrestleMania. Absolutely true. Absolutely. WWE, WCW, ECW, Ring of Honor, especially. Little TNA. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I have over 100 Ring of Honor DVDs just right over here in the other corner of the room here. So I am a sick wrestling fan. Not as big a wrestling fan as I used to be. Like, I don't get overly emotional about it like I do a Jets game or a Mets game or anything like that. But I always follow it because, unlike in real sports, the good guys occasionally win. it's hard for him to text, so don't take offense. I understand. Yeah, I understand. Oh, Nick, let's talk offline. My channel is all wrestling. We had Brian Cage. I remember Cage from Lucha Underground. Yeah, I just don't watch AEW. I think it's because I was such an ROH fan, and it's just I was a fan of ROH, a huge fan for 20 years. I just can't give it to AEW, and I just can't do it. Even though they have some of my favorite wrestlers there. I'm a huge Samoa Joe fan, huge Bryan Danielson fan, Adam Cole fan as well, even though he's hurt. But yeah, I can't. I don't know. I think about the point in my life, I just have too many other things to go. Like if I got into it, I would have to get all the way into it. But Nick, if you go into the page, you can, my email address is there. You can email me. So look under the profile, under my contact information, send me an email. So it's not the hardest. The Blackjacks. Oh, Harlan going back a little bit. That's right. Blackjack Mulligan and Mulligan and Lanza. That's right. Yeah, Blackjack Mulligan and Jack Lanza. Then you had the new Blackjacks, which were Bradshaw and Wyndham. That's right. It was an amazing night. I was a Punk fan, still am, and my son was a Cena fan. It was a great night at the Allstate. Man, who knows if we passed by each other? Maybe we both had Jet jerseys on. I'm pretty sure I had a Jet jersey on. I think it's a pretty good bet. We do WWE, AEW, had Karrion Kross, Layla, Al Snow, I want head, Mike Chioda, many others. Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, all wrestling. I'll be sure to check it out and subscribe to it for sure. Yeah, I have so many different podcasts that I follow and YouTube channels that I follow that sometimes it's hard to get everything in, but I will definitely check it out for sure. The Blackjacks are managed by Captain Lou Albano. Ah, yes. I thought for years, growing up in New Jersey, that the Albano Cleaners were named after him, but I don't think that was the case. Book I'm reading right now. I'm currently reading the recently, if you're an old school wrestling fan, I am reading the recently released biography on Gorilla Monsoon. A book for him, about 500 pages, is long overdue. And I just read the part about when he had the confrontation with Muhammad Ali and gave him the airplane spin right before Ali had the boxer versus wrestler match with Antonio Inoki. That's right. I know what's up. He even talked about his relationship with Bruiser Brody, which was a very uncomfortable relationship. I haven't gotten into the 80s yet, the Bobby Heenan parts yet, but I'm very much looking forward to that. So, yeah. Whatever happened to the Bushwhackers? Well, Butch passed away not that long ago. I know Luke is currently doing a podcast right now, I think with one of the D'Angelos. I think Marcus D'Angelo. It's like the Golden Era Network. Like he does podcasts with Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Ted DiBiase. Okay, I had to do that. But yeah, Luke has a podcast now as well. And I actually met Luke at a Ring of Honor show in New York City one time. So yeah, I was a huge Bushwhacker fan back in the day. I was doing this. I admit it. Third grade, I was a huge Bushwhacker fan. But yeah, we did lose Butch a couple years ago, I believe. Not many folks in the Jet community are wrestling fans. Yep, Jersey too. Yeah. Well, I live in North Carolina now. I live in Raleigh, but I grew up in Edison. So I'm a Jersey boy, born and raised, and I'm proud to be a Jersey boy. Just like the great Eddie Rabbit sang many, many years ago. Brian Solomon. Yep. He was on a few weeks ago. Great dude, great book. See, you know I'm for real. If I mentioned the Gorilla Monsoon book, I'm not just a WWE guy. All right. We've had a little wrestling distraction here. Yeah, it's been a few years since I've been in an event the way prices are going up, but we'll see. I know SmackDown will be. I'm only 3 miles away from the Lenovo Center, but I'm sorry if I got to pay $100 to get in the building. I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth it. And right now, I'm not at a point where I could be dropping a lot of money on entertainment. So we'll see. I miss house shows, though. I got to tell you, I do miss house shows. But that was one of the best things I've been to. I did go to a couple WrestleManias. I went to WrestleMania 9 in Vegas, went to 13 in Chicago, went to 22 in Chicago. So yeah, I did see the Bret Hart Stone Cold submission match. So I got to see that in person. Yeah. So I definitely got to see some greats. I did get to see WrestleMania 9, which was an abortion. I think the main event was Roe versus Wade because that show was an abortion. Just one bad match after another. I did get to see the Giant Gonzalez in person. Yeah, I'll put that on. Yeah, that was on my bucket list. God bless him. But okay, guys, let's go ahead and get into the trivia. So what I'm going to do, I've got the 5 minutes that I'm going to put on the clock. Chris was at 13 and 22 also. Fantastic. Yeah. There's no doubt we passed by each other. No doubt. All right, so I try to make the question topical every week. So this is a Jets-Saints question, and guys, you're going to have to go a little deep on this. Here's the question. It goes like this. The Jets' only win in their last 5 meetings with New Orleans was November of 2013. So this is getting towards the end of the Rex era. It was a 27-20 win. Name the Jets' leading receiver in that game. Who had the most receiving yards? So this was, Idzik had come in at this point, and I think the Jets finished about 500. Then he had the one more year in 2014, and it was over. So who was the Jets' leading receiver in that game? It is not Neil O'Donnell. Yes, Rusty. That is that is correct. Danger zone going with a deep cut. Ryan Spadola. Is it Ryan Spadola? Not quite. Rusty Spooner goes with Brandon Marshall. How about Brandon Marshall? Nah, Brandon Marshall did not come till 2015, that first year with Todd Bowles and Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was not here very long. And I could also tell you it was not Eric Decker. He was not a Jet yet. So it's not Decker. It is not Marshall. It is not Ryan Spadola. It is not Wesley Walker. It is not Al Toon. It is not Don Maynard. I could tell you, this guy played for a bunch of teams. He played for like 6 teams, had, I think, 2 years with the Jets. Danger Zone goes Chris Ivory. How about Chris Ivory? I will tell you, it is not a running back. So it's not like a trick question. Don't think running back. I will tell you this. If you get a receiver who actually caught a pass in this game, I will let you know how many yards he had. That's how ridiculous this question is. Chris goes with Lavernius Coles. Not in 2014. Or 13, I should say. Rusty with a good guess. How about Jeremy Curley? Is it Jeremy Curley? Afraid not. Afraid not. Good guess. He was on the team, but I believe he was injured at the time. Don Maynard had been retired for a while by then, too. Yes, it is not George Sauer. It is not Rich Castor. It is not Mickey Schuler. Rusty goes with Santonio Holmes. How about Santonio Holmes? He was gone by then, that's for sure. Yeah, Santonio was history. Danger is trying Plexico Burris. No, Plexico was a one and done with the Jets a couple of years prior. Yeah, Plexico was out of the league by now. 2.5 minutes left. All right. Hey, Nick, I got the email. All right, I'll check it out. Oh, let's see. Oh, we have a Saints update real quick. Johnny Mitchell, no. With Devin Neal out this week and Alvin Kamara dealing with injuries, the Saints are signing veteran running back Nyheim Hines to their practice squad. He is continuing a long road back from a jet ski accident in the summer of 2023. That's how desperate the Saints are for a running back. Oh, and for the Rams, Davante Adams is doubtful for Thursday's game against Seattle. Knee and hamstring. All right. Alan Lazard cleared waivers. He is open to signing with a contender. All right. Anything else? Was this the year we drafted Quincy? Quincy Enunwa? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. Devin Smith. How about Devin Smith? Oh, this is interesting. Oh, for the Bears, you might be interested in this one, Chris. So the Bears believe that Arlington Heights is the best spot for the Bears Stadium, but sentiments aren't being matched, and the team is exploring alternate sites. Wow. It looked like the Bears to Arlington Heights was a lock. Now it might be different. All right, we'll see what happens. I can tell you, there's not a lot of room to build, not a lot of good areas to build once you get outside the city. Stephen Hill, Danger says, how about Stephen Hill? I will say this. Stephen Hill was at least targeted in that game. He did not have a catch, but he did play. 30 seconds left, guys. I know this is a tough one. And it's not Quincy Enunwa either. I'll give you a couple other players. Josh Cribbs, 6 yards. Tommy Bohannon, Tebow, 11 yards. David Nelson, 19 yards. Zach Sudfeld, 46 yards. He was the second leading receiver, but there was one other receiver who had more than Zach Sudfeld's 46 yards. That's right. At first I'm going to make him guess the top 2 receivers. I figured that'd be cruel. One would be enough. Kellen Winslow, there we go. There we go. Kellen Winslow, the Boston market masturbator himself. Is that the one you're talking about? Not quite. We need Sharon McLean. We need Curly Norman. We need Nick Shine. Yeah, we need some help on this one. Yeah, that's why I only asked for one name. I got to make it easier back. I got to make the next one a little easier for you next week. I have to do that. All right, guys, the correct answer. Who was the Jets' leading receiver in their last victory over New Orleans back in November 2013? He had 57 yards. It was Greg Salas, who played for 6 different teams. He went on to, I think, Buffalo and beat us a little bit. Played for Miami, played for Dallas. I think Salas actually played for Buffalo in that game where Buffalo ousted us. 2015, the last game of the season in Buffalo, where Rex did it and Ryan Fitzpatrick threw those interceptions. Greg Salas, I believe, was playing for the Bills in that game, as a matter of fact. But he had 57 yards in that game against the New Orleans Saints. You wouldn't believe it, would you? But it is a true statement. Oh, Johnny Boy's here. Oh, my God. Johnny, you feeling good? You feeling okay, buddy? I hope you're getting better. Yeah, I hope you got my text. I understand if you were feeling a little bit worse for wear, but, buddy, I'm glad that you're here. Chris Bradigan, I don't even remember Greg Salad. I do remember a good Joe Beningo rant. That was one of the games when Kyle Wilson had another horrible game and he went on like a 5-6 minute rant about, I want Kyle Wilson out, bro. But even Salas in that game had a huge drop and he goes, hold on to the freaking ball, Salas. Oh, boy. That's right, Danger. LFG JB. Yep, I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. Yeah, Rusty, that was a hard one. So next week I will make it a little bit easier. I have to. I have to. I'm just going to check the question for next week to see if it's at least reasonable. Because then we're getting into division opponents, which gets a little bit repetitive. Yeah, I think next week is New England. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna use this one. Yeah, there was one game. It was the November 12th game when I didn't get to use the New England trivia questions, so I'm gonna use that one for next week. All right, I know the one I'm gonna use for you. John Hall, Truthers Unite. All right. Definitely had a big leg, and by today's standards, it would be a very average leg, wouldn't it? You're at Virginia General, okay. All right, yeah, I'll definitely be praying for you tonight, man. For sure. Yeah. Hope that Mrs. Johnny and the Johnny Juniors are doing good. Hope they're hanging in there. I hope they're able to visit you. And hey, if the recovery's got to be slow, I hope it's at least steady. John Hall is always the answer. Absolutely true. Rusty, the harder ones with division opponents are bad to have. Yeah, it is true because with the Saints, I could give you that question once like every 4 years. With the Bills, the Patriots, and the Dolphins, it's 2 every year. It's like, how creative can I get? So yeah, that is always part of it. So guys, here's what's coming up. Thursday, I'll be doing the picks video as always, and then Friday I will have by the latest Saturday morning. Just depends how busy things get. But Friday, the plan is to have the Jets Saints preview video as well as the 5 bold predictions video. I've been putting some other stuff up. The John Cena tribute, that's about a 25-minute watch. I did put up a video about the Mets signing Jorge Polanco as well. And you guys know the deal. If something moves me to talk about it, I will. As bad as the New York Rangers are, I have no desire to talk about them whatsoever. That's why I skipped them in 3 and out, because They're just a boring, miserable team. And if you're an Islander fan, good for you. I hope you're happy because you're doing pretty well right now. Good for you. So let's see. I think the Knicks have the Pacers in 2 nights. I think it's Thursday night. Yeah, the Knicks got to face the Pacers. We'll see if Karl Anthony Towns plays in that game because from what I hear, his calf is still bothering him. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Rusty with the Let's Go Islanders. Okay, there you go. The wife visits. I want the kids to see you. Got it. Okay. Cena's retirement should have been better. Yeah, I mean, the heel turn was great. The tour was just, it felt like they were booking it week by week, and that's unfortunate. It should have been booked like pretty much a year out. You could have done it. You knew this was something that was going to happen. When I say you, I mean the creative folks at WWE. But yeah, to me, the heel turn should have happened a couple of years ago, not during a retirement tour when people want to cheer him because they know it's the last time they'll probably get to see him. That was the biggest mistake. The heel turn should have been a couple of years ago, in my opinion. But to me, it did make sense that he lost that last match. And we could always have debates about that, but I would have made the same decision. Chris believes it was awesome. Yeah, the finish was awesome, but there was just missteps in the tour that could have been a lot better. You know, Triple H ruined it. I don't think he ruined it. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go that far. Put it this way. If he had said no to a heel turn a couple years ago and said, now we're going to do it, then that's the issue I've got. Like, to have The Rock be there for the heel turn and then we never see him again, that's a problem. That is the part that didn't make sense to me. And yeah, that'd probably be about my biggest criticism. Like John Cena doing the you people thing didn't work. Like if he had cheated to win the title and was sort of like, this is why I did it. I understand it if you want it. If you're with me, great. And if you're not with me, screw you. That could have been intriguing because that would have divided the audience because you got your Cena lovers and your Cena haters. That could have worked. But to take the whole you people route on the retirement tour, it just didn't work. It didn't work. That's right. He gave up. Yeah. Well, he gave up. You know what? He gave up. I heard Bubba Ray Dudley say this. And sometimes I agree with him. Sometimes I disagree. But this was one time I really agreed with him. He said John Cena tapped out for the wrestling fans because he allowed better business to come. Because if Cena wins, what happens? What do you do with Gunther after that? What happens? Now you have a white hot heel, somebody who is respected and feared. And now instead you have somebody who is absolutely hated and doesn't need a championship right now to generate that level of hate. It's like Roman Reigns after he defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Right on that level. Certain things were good. Sellouts, it was booked terribly. He did have some of the best matches, though, that he's had in years. The match with AJ Styles, the match with CM Punk. There were some fantastic matches. So we do have that. There was definitely some good, and there was definitely some bad. I'm just glad I don't have to hear about all the GOAT talk anymore because I'm sorry. I got to that in the video, that my thoughts on him being the GOAT, so. Would have been a lot better if he had just passed out, but then Gunther can't say, I made him give up. It could have been a thing where he did this last struggle and he knew he was about to go out and he gave like a quick tap or something. The smile, the sort of smile was weird. I would have liked to have seen a little more effort right before the tap out. That's the one thing. But a pass out is nowhere near as effective as a tap out. Gunther said he was going to make him give up. And a pass out was not the case. Passing out is not giving up. Tapping out is. So that's what I think. And that's the cool thing. We can have like that dialogue, kind of go back and forth, have different opinions, and try to see each other's perspective. So I'm trying to be better at that as a human being. And I think I am getting a lot better at it, in all fairness. I wasn't always, try not to take that crap seriously, because at the end of the day, it's entertainment. It's just entertainment. Just engage me, give me a good story, give me good stories. And, the best thing, keep me in suspense about who's winning. The best matches to me are where I really struggle to figure out who's going to win the match. And I could make a good argument for Gunther winning. I could have made an argument for John Cena winning. That's always the best. Keep me in suspense. If you do that most of the time, then I think you're doing your job as a booker or a matchmaker, whatever term you want to call it. All right, guys, I am going to get going. I'm going to make some dinner real quick and figure out something to watch. And we'll see. I got a few things saved on the DVR, a couple movies that I got to catch up. I tried watching the Liver King documentary on Netflix. I got through 15 minutes of it and I was finished with that crap. Oh boy. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining me. We will be here next week for Christmas Eve. So in advance, I want to wish everybody a very happy Christmas, Adam, on December 23rd, because Adam came before Eve. That's terrible, is it? Yeah. But if anybody wants to use the Christmas Adam, you can use it. I'll give you permission. All right. But for real, guys, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Have a great rest of your week. And I will see you all right back here with more content from you all know where. The Wicker Chair. Good night.